So now that we have obtained the success probability analysis, and then we are able to ensure that every optimal path is found in at least one of the multiple colorings that we have made for the graph, we are ready to find the signaling pathways and we are ready to apply it. So, the authors applied it to a yeast protein-protein interaction network obtained from a database of interacting proteins called DIP. There are about 4,500 vertices and about 14,000 edges in this particular database of interacting proteins in yeast. The run times varied from minutes length 8 to under 2 hours for length 10. You can see that even with all these efficiencies, this order of 2 to the k into m that we saw, right. So, that takes 2 hours for k equal to 10. But for k equal to 8 it took minutes, right, and this is much faster than brute force. So, if we had not gone through all this trouble of coming up with this color coding algorithm, right, for longer paths it would have taken 14 times more time, right, for paths of length 9 for instance, and for larger lengths it may be similar or even higher orders of magnitude more time. So, brute force would not be possible for long k values, I mean for larger k values. And in this particular case, because we had this color coding algorithm, the authors were able to apply it on these yeast protein-protein interaction network and figure out signaling pathways that start from a receptor protein. So, or membrane proteins, this is your set S, and go all the way down to regulator proteins T for different values of length k. These are some of the pathways that were recovered. What is shown here is the known pathway and the pathway that was recovered by the algorithm, recovered by the color coding algorithm over multiple colorings, and this is recovered in at least one of those colorings. Okay. You can see here that those that are shown in bold, row 1, PKC1, MKK1, SLT2 are also matching the known pathways. There are some proteins like BCK1 that are missing, and then these are also actually matching, but ROM2 is, but there are also some new components of these pathways like ROM2, right. So, this is missing, but this is novel component in this pathway, right. So, we are able to mostly recapitulate the known pathways, but then there are also some new components that you are able to pick by looking for this unbiased data driven way of figuring out signaling pathways in these large scale biological networks. Another example is shown here. So, this is for cell wall integrity pathway on the top, and in the bottom you have a pheromone response pathway, this MAP KKK, right, this MAP triple K, MAP double K and MAP single K pathways, right. So, that is what is shown here. Again there are some novel components and then some things are missing, but largely the structure of the pathway is able to be recovered. So, you have ST4 here, you have ST7, KSS1 and FUS3 have similar properties. So, these can also be considered to be recovered. You have ST12 here and so on. Okay. So, this is, both of these are this class of pathways called MAP kinase pathways. So, both of them are recovered with reasonably good accuracy. There are also these multiple signaling pathways that you can piece together into a larger network, and that network shows more interesting observations like STE5. So, STE5 is the scaffold protein which provides a framework onto which other proteins can bind. Okay. So, STE5 provides a framework for STE11, STE7, FUS3 and STE50 to bind, and so those are also recovered in data driven fashion, in this network driven fashion by the algorithm, this color coding algorithm. Okay. So, without revealing that STE5 is a scaffolding protein, by looking at these linear signaling pathways and assembling them into this larger scale network, the scaffold proteins are also recovered by this algorithm. Okay. So, this is a pheromone response pathway network, signaling pathway network that is assembled from a union of these different signaling pathways. So, let us summarize the algorithms we have seen for both problem 1a and problem 1b. So, problem 1a we wanted to estimate the probability that a pair of proteins interact and we have seen that we can estimate it in a well founded way using a training data set and a logistic regression, a machine learning model for binary classification. And then problem 1b, we have seen that brute force approach is going to be really slow for the length of pathways to be 9 or 10 for instance. So, when we can come up with efficient color coding algorithms that are based on dynamic programming for finding simple paths in large graphs. Okay. And in these applications, we have seen that when the above algorithms are applied to yeast, we are able to recover known pathways, and then also the discovered pathways, 60% of the discovered pathways were enriched for coherent biological functions. Okay. So, in addition to the known pathways, then you can also use it to discover novel pathways. One thing that that this paper goes into in further detail is that we can add biological extensions. You do not have to look for necessarily linear signaling pathways, you can look for a little bit more interesting substructures, and the DP algorithm and the idea of color coding will still work. Okay. So, that is a versatile idea that has benefits beyond just looking for linear signaling pathways that are colorful. Okay. So, that can find more interesting substructures in these networks, and in this particular application there were these MAP kinase pathways and ubiquitin ligation pathways that were also recovered, and we looked at some subset of them in the last few slides. So, in terms of conclusion, we have come to the end of the session on a real world problem, right. We have seen our first data science problem in bioinformatics, and it is a very natural way in which two algorithms have combined. One is a machine learning model based algorithm for training a model, figuring out the best parameters and then estimating the probability of a protein pair to interact, and a graph algorithm which will take this set of protein interactions, weighted protein interactions, analyze this weighted undirected graph and find linear paths, simple paths of a particular length k in this graph. Okay. The next steps would be that we will look at other biological questions related to genome construction. It is essentially a huge puzzle that we have to solve. So, I call it as a huge puzzling solution. So, that is what we will look at in the next session. But for now I want to leave you with a final parting thought, right. So, the reason that I chose this as the first problem, right, or first real world problem or first data science problem to look at is, I wanted you to appreciate so many different concepts that goes into solving a real world problem, right. Just think about all the different concepts that you have to learn from different parts of your training, right. So, in this program you have looked at basic foundations, basic statistics, machine learning, algorithmic thinking, right. All of that has come together in a very natural way to solve this problem. You have to know what a logistic regression model is, you need to know what a graph algorithm is, and then there we resorted to dynamic programming, right. So, these different concepts are brought together in a very seamless way to solve this particular question, right. And if you want to show this in a Venn diagram, right. So, there are some concepts for solving problem 1a, which is a machine learning model. So, you need to know a bit of probability and statistics, right, and you need to know the subject matter. The subject matter here refers to biology, right. So, this is the biological subject matter, and there is this machine learning model and logistic function and the logistic regression model that we were looking at, right. And then in computer science we had to look at graph algorithms and DP based algorithms, right. So, all of this has to come together to solve these two problems 1a and 1b for this particular course, right. So, it is not really an imaginary unicorn that we are looking at. Real world problems do need concepts from different areas to come together naturally and to solve it, right. And that is what I hope I have communicated to you through this particular real world data science problem, right. And we argue that not every problem will have these multiple concepts. So, some of them will be more graph algorithm driven or more algorithm driven, string algorithms or tree algorithm driven, right. Some of them will have kind of more machine learning driven, maybe clustering algorithms, right. And then some of them are rare in that they seamlessly involve both machine learning as well as algorithmic thinking. Okay. And that is one particular problem of finding signaling pathways in networks. I will leave you with this parting thought. Thank you for your attention, and goodbye until we see next time.